The cell reeks of mold and human misery. The stone walls weep constant moisture. After 3 days in the dungeons, Seline can no longer remember what fresh air tastes like. The cream silk of her baby shower dress, now stained with grime and sweat, feels like a mockery. Its delicate fabric rots in the perpetual damp. She hasn't been offered a change of clothes. The Luna of the Northern Territories sits in her own filth, just like any common criminal. Something skitters in the darkness. Rat or roach, she stopped caring which. The sounds of her fellow prisoners echo through the cramped space. Crude laughter, occasional sobs, the endless scrape of chains against stone. "I, your majesty," a gravelly voice calls out. "Still too good to answer when we speak to you?" Raucous laughter follows. Some of them know exactly who she is. Others simply see a woman in fancy dress, fallen from grace, an irresistible target either way. "Bet she's not so uppity with the guards when they visit at night," another voice suggests. More laughter, cruder this time. Seline pulls her knees tighter to her chest, pressing herself into the corner where the walls meet. The stone's chill has long since settled into her bones. Her stomach cramps with hunger. They feed the prisoners once a day, if they remember, if they bother. Someone will come, she thought at first. Someone will realize this is madness. But the hours stretched into days, and no one has spoken in her defense. The guards who bring the thin gruel won't meet her eyes. Her own mate, no, her alpha, believes her capable of murder. She almost laughs at the thought. All those years of perfect obedience, of putting the pack first, of being the ideal Luna, and for what? To die in this hole, convicted of a crime she didn't commit? The evidence had been perfectly planted, the poison vial, the journal entries in her handwriting. Someone had studied her writing, knew her habits. Someone wanted her not just dead, but utterly destroyed. A sob catches in her throat. She's lived her entire life for duty, for the greater good, and this is her reward? Abandoned, betrayed, expendable. The tears come then, hot and silent against her grimy cheeks. So many regrets crowd her mind, impossible to ignore in the endless dark. She regrets not seeing Leo's true nature sooner, regrets thinking herself his equal when he only wanted submission. She regrets failing her pack when they needed her most. She regrets Bella's death. No, not Bella's, but her unborn child's. That innocent life snuffed out before it began. Another thing she'll never have. Another dream to die with her in this pit. She thought she'd made peace with her barrenness, but now the loss feels sharp as a blade. And Jace, the thought of him, brings fresh pain, somehow worse than all the rest. She hopes he remembers her as she was, strong, dignified, worthy of respect. Not this broken thing huddled in the dark, reduced to nothing but regret and bitter tears. Perhaps it's better this way. Thoughts race as heavy boots echo down the corridor. Better he never sees what I've become. A guard announces it's time for questioning, and Seline braces herself, knowing no mercy will follow. The sunlight blinds her as they drag her through the gardens after days in darkness. Even the weak winter light feels like needles piercing her eyes. The air is thick with scents, dozens, perhaps hundreds of shifters gathered to witness her shame. Murmurs ripple through the crowd as she stumbles past. Not just their pack, but representatives from every allied territory. Leo has turned this into a spectacle. Her humiliation will be witnessed by the entire shifter world. "The Luna's fallen," someone whispers. Never did trust those quiet ones, another voice adds. Hard to believe she'd poison a pregnant woman. Her once elegant silk dress hangs in filthy tatters, her matted hair falling loose around her face. Each step feels like miles as they march her toward the great hall where Leo holds court. The crowd falls silent as the massive doors swing open. Afternoon moonlight streams through towering windows, creating a halo effect around Leo's golden head. He lounges on his throne, an actual throne today, not the simple chair he usually favors. One leg thrown carelessly over the armrest, his chin propped on his fist. Power radiates from him in waves, filling the cavernous space. This is not the mate she's known for a decade. This is something ancient and terrible, a god of judgment preparing to pass sentence. Bring her closer, he commands, his voice carrying to every corner. The guards shove her forward, and she stumbles, her knees hitting the marble floor hard enough to bruise. Leo watches it all with cold detachment, as if she's already ceased to exist in his mind. Luna Seline, his voice rings out with authority. You stand here today amongst our people and allies, in front of your alpha and the alphas that stand with him, to be tried for the crime of murder. She meets his gaze steadily, refusing to cower despite her position. You are accused of poisoning Bella, my consort, and our unborn child, my heir. Each word lands like a stone. 2 other alphas will assist me in determining your fate. She manages a slight nod. To my right, Alpha Cedric of the Southern Territories. Cedric studies her like a particularly interesting specimen. She remembers him from countless diplomatic functions, earning his respect through careful negotiation. Now, his gaze holds nothing but clinical interest. Leo's jaw clenches. And our third judge, he trails off, clearly annoyed by the sound of footsteps echoing through the hall. The crowd parts, murmuring, though Seline can't yet see who approaches. Their reactions betray shock, recognition, and something else. Is this where I come in? A voice booms. Seline's heart stops. That voice, she knows it. The smooth tone, capable of shifting from playful to lethal in an instant. But it can't be. He can't be here. Not now. Not like this. I apologize for my tardiness, the voice continues, but my brother's funeral arrangements. The voice continues closer now, smug, though I wouldn't miss this for the world. Oh, we know, Leo, grinds out a voice, making the sentiment perfectly clear. The crowd parts fully, and there he is, Jace. No, King Jace now. Dear God, he wears the title like he was born to it. Seline can't breathe, can't think. Her world narrows to the sight of him, to the way his eyes find hers across the crowded hall. King Jace. Leo inclines his head stiffly. How nice of you to join us. But Jace isn't looking at Leo. He's looking at her, his blue gaze fixed on Seline with nothing but warmth and something deeper that makes her heart stutter. My queen, he greets her, the endearment spoken so naturally it sends a ripple through the crowd. He approaches with fluid grace, extending his hand. So this is what you get up to when I'm gone, he murmurs teasingly as he takes her hand. Seline says nothing, though she offers him a shaky smile in return. He helps her to her feet as if she's wearing the finest silk instead of prison rags. When he brings her hand to his lips, the gesture feels like a declaration of war. Shall we proceed? He turns to Leo, his smile holding all the danger of a drawn blade. The crowd erupts in whispers as Jace moves to take his place beside the throne. "How do you plead, Luna?" Leo asks. Afternoon light cuts through the great hall's windows. Seline meets Jace's eyes before answering, "Not guilty." "You claim you had nothing to do with Bella's death?" Leo snarks, holding up a crystal vial like evidence. To him, it probably is. "Let us review the evidence then," he declares. "This poison was found in the Luna's chambers, the same type that killed my consort and heir." The crowd gasps, their stares weighing heavily on Seline's skin. "Found rather easily, wouldn't you say?" Jace's voice holds dangerous amusement. "Anyone could have planted it," Jace counters, "along with this." Leo reveals the leather journal, pages of research on poisons in her hand. Alpha Cedric leans forward. "That is pretty condemning." "Which again could have been planted," Jace challenges. "Why would Seline even do this?" Leo's laugh is cold. "Isn't it obvious? Jealousy. She hated Bella from the beginning, perhaps resented that another would bear the Alpha's child." Cedric adds, his power crackling. "When she could not please." Jace snorts, dismissing the notion. "She doesn't have a jealous bone in her body, not even over the man she loves." Cedric asks, "Does she?" Jace smirks. "Seline doesn't love Leo." The words hit like a slap. Leo surges up, rage filling the room. "You dare," Leo growls. "Bring in the witnesses," Cedric interrupts. Beta Kendrick approaches first, sweating under Leo's stare, not looking at Seline. "The Luna was always cold," he says to the floor, "calculating, the way she'd watch everyone like she was waiting for us to make a mistake." Seline frowns. She gets along well with Kendrick. He often comes to her for advice instead of Leo. And toward Lady Bella specifically? Leo insists, his power pressing down on his beta, making his jaw clench. She resented her," Kendrick grinds out. "Did she?" Leo presses, a dark gleam in his eyes. Kendrick's shoulders slump. "Drop in defeat. Sure, we all saw it," he grimaces. One by one, they step forward, pack members whose disputes she settled, whose children she's named, whose marriages she blessed. Under Leo's stare, they speak of imagined wrongs, looking increasingly uncomfortable. "She never smiled at Lady Bella's happiness," one says nervously. "Always undermining her authority," another adds. "Making her feel unwelcome," comes the third, reluctant try. The marble floor seems to absorb their betrayal, growing colder with each false word. Only Sarah, when called, stands straight-backed despite Leo's growl of warning. "The Luna has served this pack faithfully for a decade," she declares, her voice ringing clear. "She stayed dignified while others gossiped, strong while others wavered. She is the most honorable person I know." Leo's power crashes against her like a wave, but Sarah doesn't flinch. "Are you sure about that, Sarah?" Cedric asks. Alpha Leo seems to disagree. Sarah's eyes fall onto the crowd. "I speak the truth," she says. The tension crackles until Leo calls the next witness. Lady Catherine enters, Seline's breath catching as her mother steps forward, silver-streaked hair gleaming in the afternoon light. Their eyes meet, years of distance dissolving in shared pain. "Oh, Seline," her mother breathes tearfully. "They wouldn't let me see you. I'm so sorry." "Tell us of your daughter's character," Leo cuts in. Catherine sends him a dark look. "My daughter has devoted her life to this pack, to you." Her eyes flash as Leo scoffs. "She's shown nothing but loyalty, even when it cost her dearly. She's helped countless pack members, settled disputes, strengthened alliances." "She couldn't give me an heir," Leo cuts in. "It takes two to make a baby," Jace observes, looking at his nails. "How are you so sure the fault isn't with you?" How dare you? Leo jumps to his feet, enraged. Bella was pregnant with my child, if you recall. I recall she was pregnant, Jace replies with a shrug. Seline gasps at the insinuation. Her mother, reading her expression, intervenes. She may not have given you an heir, but my daughter has given you everything else. Catherine's composure cracks. Her youth, her dreams, her chance at real love. Your maternal bias blinds you, Leo scoffs. Shiv would never do this. The name explodes from her mother like a thunderclap. The crowd stirs, whispers rising like wind through leaves. Who? Cedric leans forward, interested. Catherine's chin lifts. Shiobun, she says. Seline's birth name before Alpha Leo changed it because he couldn't be bothered to learn its proper pronunciation. Out of the corner of her eye, Seline sees Jace go rigid, the color draining from his face. She tries to catch his gaze, but he seems too shocked to notice. My daughter Shiv has only ever been faithful to her pack, to her duty, and to a mate who never deserved her, her mother concludes. Enough of this. Leo rises, power rolling off him in waves. The evidence is clear. It's time to vote. Cedric sends him a glance. Perhaps we should interrogate the accused, he reminds Leo. Fine, Seline, speak, Leo barks. The crowd jumps as Seline inclines her head politely. I didn't do this, she says. I didn't kill Bella. Leo snorts. Right, convincing. I didn't kill her, Seline insists, but perhaps I know who did. Gaps and murmurs echo throughout the chamber. Even Leo's eyes gleam with curiosity at that. Seline meets his gaze steadily. Tell me, Alpha, have you seen Bella's bodyguard since her death? Ian seems conspicuously absent today, Leo frowns. What does that matter? He hasn't been seen since Lady Bella's passing, Sarah calls from the crowd. Not by anyone. This is just as Seline suspected. The pieces fall into place. If anyone had clear access to Bella and a true motive of jealousy, it was Ian. It's quite the coincidence, Seline says softly. The one person with clear access to Bella and a motive of jealousy disappears. What are you implying? Leo's power crackles dangerously. I have reason to believe Bella was having an affair with Ian, Seline declares. The words land like a bomb. Leo surges to his feet. Impossible! Bella would never! What makes you say that? Jace interrupts, his face still oddly pale and distracted. Seline meets his troubled gaze. Because I caught them together in the gardens. She describes that night, the passionate embrace, Ian's possessive claims, his insistence that Bella's child was his. Lies. Leo roars, I am the father. Perhaps, Seline says quietly, though Ian didn't think so. Leo's fury fills the room like smoke. Either you're lying now, which only proves your hatred of Bella, or you knew of this affair for months and said nothing, putting her at risk. His smile turns cruel. Either way, you've sealed your own guilt. Being guilty of discretion isn't the same as murder, Jace points out, but Leo is already turning to Cedric. Vote, he commands. I believe her innocent, Jace says immediately. Cedric hesitates. Seline holds her breath as she awaits his verdict. Leo will clearly vote her guilty. This leaves Cedric as the turning point. Perhaps with more time, Cedric begins. I will not stand for the death of my child to go unpunished any longer, Leo roars. Vote now, Cedric, or I swear. Fine, Cedric says, looking a mix of fed up and uneasy. Without proof of Seline's claim of the affair, but with evidence of her guilt, he shakes his head. I must vote against the Luna. Leo's smile turns feral. Then, as Alpha, I declare Seline guilty. Satisfaction darkens his tone. The sentence is death. The crowd erupts into stupefied murmurs. Seline would almost feel better for it, this clear sign that everyone had expected her to go free, if it wasn't for the fact of her impending death. Her eyes find Jace's amidst the chaos. His are specked with gold and filled with crazed desperation. No! Jace stands, and something in his voice makes the entire hall hold its breath. No? Leo snorts as if amused. I claim right of substitution, Jace cuts him off. The silence that befalls the room then is deafening. Even Leo gapes for a second. The right of substitution? Cedric looks bewildered. You wish to die in the Luna's place? Seline shakes her head. Her head snaps toward Jace. What is he playing at? Is this some sort of trick? Surely he can't really mean it. Jace catches her gaze as she begins to speak. What are you on about? Leo sneers, having recovered from the shock. You're not her pack, not her alpha. This woman is my fated mate, Jace declares. Seline gasps, the sound blending with the collective intake of breath from everyone present. Jace's eyes lock onto hers, unwavering. It's true, he murmurs, answering the unspoken question hanging in the air. Impossible, Leo snarls, though uncertainty creeps into his voice. Jace's smile sharpens, dangerous and deliberate, as his fingers move to unbutton his shirt. Shall I show you my mark, the name I've carried since birth? His eyes never leave Seline's face. Though I've spent years searching for a Shaban, when all along she was right here, calling herself Seline. The words echo through the sudden silence. For one breathless moment, joy floods Seline's chest at the sheer possibility of finding her true mate. But then horror crashes in. He's offering to die in her place. No! She jumps up, shaking her head. No, he's lying. Jason's eyes blaze with challenge. I'm not Seline, he says pointedly. Cedric leans forward, intrigued. Well, which is it? Are you fated mates or not? Seline shakes her head vehemently. Of course not, she protests, her voice trembling. I'd know if he was my mate. I would feel something. Jace's tone softens. You're a wolf. You don't bear marks like we do, and you're already mated, which clouds the connection further. I would feel something, she insists, but even as she says it, doubt flickers within her. When I look at you, I feel nothing. Jace smiles, a tender, amused expression that holds both affection and understanding. Is that so? He asks gently. Nothing? Nothing, Seline repeats, though tears betray her resolve. I'll bet 5 gold pieces she feels something, Cedric mutters to Leo under his breath. I can prove it, Jace announces loudly enough for the entire room to hear. My mark will glow at your touch, if you truly are mine. Their eyes meet, and Seline's heart sinks. She already knows the truth. She can feel it humming between them like a plucked string. And Jace won't let her deny it. But she doesn't want to find him only to lose him. She doesn't want him sacrificing himself for her. Come forward, Leo commands. A guard half drags her toward where Jace stands. He begins unbuttoning his shirt, and without thinking, Seline steps closer, turning him slightly away from the crowd's prying stares. Rather possessive for someone who feels nothing, Cedric observes dryly, earning approving whispers from those watching. Seline glares briefly in their direction before focusing back on Jace. His skin gleams golden in the afternoon light, lean muscle rippling as he moves. The mark sits above his heart, Her name, her true name, written in an elegant script that seems to shimmer with possibility. Shobin. Seeing it there sends a pang through her chest. Another thing Leo took from her, making her use Seline instead, creating this small but crucial disconnect from her own fate. Get on with it, Leo snaps impatiently. Jace's knowing smirk doesn't quite hide the tenderness in his eyes. Seline's hand trembles as she reaches out. The moment her fingers brush against his skin, heat blooms beneath her touch, spreading outward until her whole body hums with awareness of him. Light spreads beneath the surface of his flesh, illuminating the truth they both now know. Her fingertips tingled as the mark began to glow with a soft blue radiance. Jace's voice held quiet triumph. "That solves it then." The mark's glow bathed them both in soft blue light, and for one precious moment, Seline felt complete, as if a piece of herself she never knew was missing had finally slotted into place. The connection between them hummed like a plucked string, making her whole body sing with awareness of him. Then Leo's satisfied voice shattered the moment. "Well then, as her fated mate, you have the right to take her place." His smile turned cruel. "The execution will proceed as planned." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Some of the older wolves muttered about the sanctity of fated pairs, while others whispered about the political implications. The scent of anticipation filled the air. They weren't just watching a trial now, but a tragic romance unfold before their eyes. Jace's fingers laced through Seline's, his thumb brushing her knuckles. When she met his eyes, his sad smile broke something in her chest. Even now, facing death, he looked at her like she was the only thing that mattered. "No," the word tore from her throat, raw with desperation. "I won't let you do this." "You can't stop me," he said gently, his voice holding finality. "I'm alpha now. I outrank you." She stomped on his foot hard enough to make several witnesses wince. His quiet laugh only fueled her fury, though his scent, sandalwood and midnight air, wrapped around her like a caress. "Leo, please," she turned to her mate, heart pounding. "Not only am I innocent, but Jace had nothing to do with this. You'd start a war over nothing." Leo's eyes gleamed with malice, his power pressing down like a physical weight. Someone must pay. "The leopards won't stand for this." "They argue." She shot Jace a severe look, which he met with infuriating calm. "You'd risk both our packs over?" "I'm selfish," Jace interrupted softly, his fingers tightening around hers. The contact sent sparks up her arm. "I choose your life over mine, over anything." Her voice cracked, tears threatening. "But I won't let you." She turned to Cedric, desperation lending steel to her spine. "Give me time to prove my claims about Ian. 1 week." "This does complicate matters," Cedric mused, studying the way Jace's thumb traced patterns on Seline's palm. Executing the Leopard King would have consequences. Leo snarled, his fury making the torches flicker. "The evidence." Yes, Cedric waved away his protest. "But now we're talking about killing the leader of a foreign pack." Politics become messier. The crowd murmured louder. Someone mentioned ancient treaties between wolves and leopards. Another voice recalled the last time a fated pair was separated by violence, how the surviving mate had laid waste to 3 territories in their grief. 24 hours, Cedric declared. The words fell like stones in water, ripples of reaction spreading through the assembly. "Find proof to absolve yourself or him," he glanced at Jace. "That's not enough time," Seline choked out, her grip on Jace's hand turning painful. Terror clawed at her throat. She'd just found him, her true mate, and now she might lose him forever. The countdown begins. Cedric rises, and Jace brings their joined hands to his lips, his kiss burning against her skin. "Best get to work then, my queen." The shout cuts through the crowd as Seline descends the courthouse steps. Pack members surge forward, their questions overlapping in a cacophony of accusation and curiosity. "Did you really poison Lady Bella out of jealousy? What do you say to these allegations, my Luna?" A steady hand catches her elbow. Eric, one of the senior pack enforcers, pulls her aside with practiced efficiency. His expression holds something like regret. The Alpha requests you leave his territory immediately, under escort. Leave? How am I supposed to gather evidence about a crime that took place here if I'm forced to leave? Seline snaps. 24 hours, Eric. That's all I have to clear my name. The man's grip tightens slightly. The Alpha's orders were clear. "Do you want to risk a war?" She meets his gaze steadily. "Because if I don't clear my name, my true mate, the king of the leopard pack, will die. And trust me, his blood won't be the only one that spills." Eric hesitates. It's enough. Seline slips free, pushing through the crowd with quiet determination. Behind her, she hears him call out, "My Luna, please." But she's already gone, the courthouse bells tolling ominously in her wake. 1 hour down. When she arrives at the mansion, it feels like enemy territory. Servants scatter at her approach, averting their eyes. In the kitchen, conversation dies as she passes. Even the gardener, who's tended these grounds since before she became Luna, suddenly finds his roses fascinating. "I need to change," she announces to no one in particular. Silence answers. She's halfway up the grand staircase when a familiar voice whispers, "This way, my Luna." Sarah emerges from a hidden alcove, gesturing urgently. "The Alpha's men are watching your chambers. Use the servants' passage." Seline follows without hesitation, relief flooding her chest at this small show of loyalty. The narrow corridor leads them to her private dressing room, where Sarah helps her quickly change into tracking clothes. "The Alpha has forbidden anyone from helping you," Sarah murmurs, fingers flying over bootlaces. "But he never specifically ordered us to help him stop you either. That's a shaky loophole, Sarah." Seline catches her hand. "You know what you risk by betraying your Alpha." Sarah meets her eyes steadily. "I don't have an Alpha," she declares, jaw clenched. "I have a Luna, and that's you." Celine's breath catches. "Sarah, thank you." "You'll thank me once you and King Jace go free, my lady." Sarah smiles. "Right now, we're a bit pressed for time." Seline manages a small smile. "Have you heard anything about Ian?" "Nothing concrete, but—" Sarah hesitates. "Cook mentioned deliveries to the docks, supplies that didn't match our usual orders." "The docks?" Seline frowns. "How does this concern Ian?" "He used to work at the docks, my lady," Sarah explains, "as security before being hired to watch over Miss Bella." "I remember, because I found it strange it gets such a prestigious job after merely working at the docks." A knock at the main door freezes them both. "Who's there?" a guard's voice carries through. Sarah's eyes widen in panic, but Seline is already moving. "Come with me," she whispers. "I need your help." They slip out through another servant's passage, emerging near the servant quarters and, most importantly, Ian's chambers. "What are we looking for?" Sarah whispers as Seline circles the room. "Anything unusual, anything that might tell us where Ian could have gone." Seline breathes deeply, sorting through the layers of scent, Bella's clawing perfume, the sharp tang of fear, and beneath it all, there. She points to faint scuff marks on the carpet. Ian's boots, recently polished. He was nervous, wanted to look his best. How can you tell? The polish has a distinct chemical smell, fresh, maybe applied this morning. Sometimes what people leave behind tells us more than what they take. Like this, Sarah holds up a crumpled receipt found beneath the bed. Maritime Shipping Company, Dock 7, Storage. Seline nods, studying the paper carefully. Of course he'd need somewhere to hide until this blows over, somewhere with access to transportation. You think this will be enough to prove he had something to do with Bella's death? My Luna? Definitely not, Seline sighs. We'll need to go there ourselves. Hopefully our culprit will still be there, laying low. The docks are huge, though, Sarah points out. How will we... We'll start with this company. Celine's voice holds fresh determination. Ian's not as clever as he thinks. He'll have left traces. The docks bustle with afternoon activity when they arrive, salt air and fish guts assaulting their sensitive noses. A weathered dock worker eyes them suspiciously as they approach. Maritime Shipping? Sarah asks, showing the receipt. We're looking for their storage facility. That one, he jerks his thumb toward a warehouse near the water. Been quiet lately. Strange that. Strange how? Seline prompts. Usually busy as anything. Last few days, he shrugs. Nothing. No shipments, no workers. Just that big fellow coming and going at odd hours. Big fellow. Celine's heart races as they approach the warehouse. Ian's scent grows stronger. Her wolf bristles beneath her skin, recognizing prey. She'll find him, she tells herself. She'll find him and she'll get him to confess. There's no other way. The main entrance is locked, but a side door yields to their touch. Inside, crates tower toward a distant ceiling, creating shadowy canyons that seem to stretch forever. The scent trail weaves between them, growing fainter with each turn. It stops here, Seline announces when they reach a stack of empty crates. Dead end. 6 hours gone. Sarah checks her watch anxiously. Maybe we should... Wait, Seline holds up a hand. Shipping records. If Ian has escaped by boat or plans to, there must be documentation. They split up, searching for an office or file room. Sarah whispers, My Luna, drawing Seline to a door tucked between towering shelves. Plain, unmarked, unremarkable, except for... The faint golden light seeping beneath the door catches Sarah's attention. She frowns. It's not electric. There's something about that warm glow, inviting, almost magical. Please, she thinks, reaching for the handle, I need to find the truth. I need to save him. The door swings open, and Seline steps through, not into an office, but into impossibility. She's inside an old bookshop, dim moonlight filtering through its windows, though Seline could have sworn it was mid-afternoon moments ago. Now, night presses against the glass like a living thing, held at bay by the warm glow of one lonely antique lamp. Seline turns, but her assistant is gone. The docks have vanished behind her, leaving only the dimly lit cobbled street of a town she has never seen, or so it appears. Dusty shelves line narrow aisles, books stacked haphazardly from floor to ceiling. The musty scent of aged paper fills the air, but beneath it lurks something wrong, something that makes Celine's wolf bristle uneasily. Her enhanced senses strain against the shadows, trying to make sense of this impossibility. That wrongness grows stronger with each step, like static raising the hair on her arms. It reminds her of something, though she can't quite place what. Her wolf paces restlessly beneath her skin, warning of danger, but what kind? The scents here are off. Old paper and dust, yes, but underneath lies something darker, something that tastes like midnight and void on her tongue. A creak echoes from somewhere deeper in the shop. Seline freezes, every muscle coiled tight. Another sound follows, the soft shuffle of feet on wooden floors. She moves silently between the shelves, her training taking over. If someone brought her here against her will, she won't give them the advantage of surprise. Her heart pounds, but her steps remain steady as she stalks toward the source of movement. That strange aura grows stronger as she advances, reminding her of something she'd sensed around Ian lately, though that seems impossible unless he somehow arranged this, found some way to trap her while Jace's time runs out. The thought makes her teeth sharpen slightly. She will not let anyone stop her from saving him. A shadow moves ahead. Someone emerges from what appears to be a small kitchen area. Seline tenses, ready to spring. The figure steps into view, a young woman, barely more than a girl, carrying a steaming cup of tea. Human, Celine's nose tells her instantly. Her attack stops mid-motion, her hand freezing inches from the girl's horrified gaze. There's a brief second of silent shock, and then the girl releases the most piercing scream Seline has ever heard. Tea splashes across worn floorboards, the scent of chamomile rising with the steam. Something wraps around Celine's throat. That dark presence she'd sensed explodes around them. Seline might have been alarmed if she'd still been able to breathe. As it is, she can only choke, her hands clawing desperately. Desperately clawing at her neck in protest, she finds nothing to remove, nothing that explains why her windpipe is currently being crushed. The pressure on it increases. Seline is running out of air. She knows because dark spots begin to dance at the edges of her vision. Through the darkness, though, she sees a man appear, seemingly out of thin air. Where there had been a void, now there's him, only inches away, his green eyes bearing into hers. "What do you want with Iris?" he asks, head cocked, lips pinched as if examining a strange curiosity. Celine's only reply is a choked gasp. The man studies Seline with unnerving intensity, his head tilting slightly. "Interesting, a shifter," he muses aloud, his voice carrying the detached curiosity of someone observing an unusual specimen. "No!" The young woman throws her hands up in exasperation. He frowns thoughtfully. "Are you certain she's not one of my clients? Are you drunk again?" "Of course she's a client." The invisible force around Celine's throat vanishes instantly, dropping her unceremoniously to the floor. She lands with a graceless thud as the man rounds on the girl. "Well, why did you scream then?" The girl stares at him like he's sprouted a second head. "Gee, I don't know, Adrian." "Maybe because she came out of nowhere?" He rolls his eyes skyward as Seline massages her bruised throat. "They literally always come out of nowhere, Iris. You don't scream your head off every time." "She startled me," Iris protests, cheeks flushing. Adrian kneels beside Seline, examining her with those unsettling green eyes. "Terribly sorry," he offers, not sounding particularly apologetic. "Thought you were attacking my assistant." Iris's nose rises imperiously. "I wear a protection charm at all times anyway, Adrian, one you gave to me. So really, you're the one that jumped the gun for no reason at all." Adrian extends his hand to help Seline up. She ignores it, rising on her own with as much dignity as she can muster, though her throat still feels raw. "Well," she manages, voice hoarse, "I suppose I did come out of nowhere." Iris practically glows with vindication. Seline studies the man carefully, noting how shadows seem to cling to him like a second skin. The darkness she'd sensed earlier emanates from him in waves, making her wolf huddle defensively against her ribcage. "This man practices dark magic," Seline warns the girl, concern coloring her tone. "Are you aware?" Iris rolls her eyes so hard it's a wonder they don't get stuck. Oh, trust me, I'm aware, she sighs dramatically, looking mournfully at her shattered teacup. Guess I'll have to make myself another then. Her tone suggests this is somehow more troubling than working for a master of the dark arts. Celine's brow furrows. This poor human girl clearly has no idea what she's gotten herself into. Can I have one? Adrian calls after Iris is retreating back. No, please. There's a weighted pause. Adrian glances at Seline with an expression that clearly says, "See what I have to put up with." "You want honey in it?" Iris's voice floats back, slightly less sharp. A small smile tugs at the corner of Celine's mouth despite herself. A pleased smile tugs at Adrian's lips. "Yes, please," she says, though she knows a human girl could hardly protect her, especially when even Celine's considerable strength proved useless against Adrian's magic. Still, she feels more vulnerable once Iris leaves. Her wolf coils tighter beneath her skin, hackles raised. "The door's right over there." Adrian gestures lazily toward the entrance. "Go on then, Shifter. Nobody's stopping you." Seline studies him, trying to read past his eerily blank expression. He settles into a worn armchair, crossing his long legs with casual grace, and waves at the door again. "Really, though, no one's stopping you." She narrows her eyes. His answering smile is wrong somehow, like he's approximating the expression from a badly written manual. "Jesus, Adrian." Iris appears in the doorway, fresh tea in hand. "I told you to stop smiling. It's just weird." His face settles into a more natural scowl. "Tea?" Iris offers the cup to Seline. "She was just leaving," Adrian interjects. "Where even are we?" Seline asks, finally finding her voice. The question has been burning since she arrived. "My shop," Adrian deadpans. "It's night out," Seline gestures to the window, frowning as she struggles to complete the thought. "You teleported to the shop," Iris supplies helpfully. "Is that what it was?" "Not really, but we'll call it that if it helps." Adrian sips his tea, then grimaces. "You did add the honey. I hate it." "I did." Iris's innocent smile could butter bread. "All right," Seline interrupts, having reached her lifetime quota of meaningless banter in the span of 5 minutes. "How do I get back?" Her heart rate spikes as implications crash over her. What if she's impossibly far from her territory? She has less than 18 hours left to save Jace, and here she is, God knows where, wasting precious time. "Through the door," Adrian says simply. "You'll end up right back where you started. It's what happens to all our clients." "I'm not a client," Seline snaps, the words sharper than intended. Her nerves are frayed to breaking. "You wouldn't be here if you weren't." Adrian's tone carries absolute certainty. "I have nothing to buy." Seline turns toward the door, disgusted with herself for even considering purchasing dark artifacts from the man who tried to strangle her people. People end up here when they truly yearn for something. His quiet words stop her mid-step. "So that I can give it to them." Something in his tone, resignation, regret, makes her turn back. "What do you mean?" "I grant wishes." He sets down his tea. "Any wish, really. Though there's always a price." "What kind of price?" "Whatever you love most." His green eyes seem to look straight through her, though it's rarely what people expect. As Seline just stares, trying to process it all, Iris pipes up. "He means you'd have to be properly desperate to make one." "Yes, it's very clear. Thank you." Seline manages faintly. Her mind races. 18 hours to save Jace. No leads, no proof of Bella and Ian's deception. Just the truth locked away somewhere, taunting her while time slips away. Her heart clenches, remembering his face in that courtroom. She can't let him die for her. The thought of it tears at her, and the words escape before she can stop them. Could you help me find proof against someone? Immediately, she wants to take them back. Dark magic is dangerous. She's known this since childhood. The price is always too high, the consequences too dire. Adrian's simple response cuts through her spiral. His eyes meet hers, and she sees something there that makes her wolf want to howl, a deep, endless sadness, like he already knows exactly how this will end. Seline hesitates. Her wolf's instincts scream against trusting dark magic, but Jace's life hangs in the balance. "I'm being framed for a murder I didn't commit," she says, the words tasting bitter on her tongue. She explains about Bella, her mate's mistress, about the sudden death and the evidence that appeared as if by magic, pointing directly to her. Adrian's face grows steadily paler as she speaks. By the time she mentions Ian's suspicious disappearance, the magician looks downright ill. "So, will you help me?" Seline presses, too focused on her goal to question his reaction. "I'm sorry," Adrian says, his voice carrying genuine regret. "I can't." "What? But you just said helping me find what I'm looking for would go directly against a wish I've already granted." Seline freezes as the implications crash over her like ice water. "Are you saying Ian asked you to frame me?" "I can neither confirm nor deny." Adrian's gaze slides away from hers. Fury rises in Celine's chest, but before she can speak, Iris steps between them. "It's not his fault," the girl insists. "There are rules. He can't refuse a wish, can't take one back, and can't grant anything that would undo a previous wish." Her chin lifts defiantly. "And he absolutely cannot tell you who wished for what or why." "Someone is about to die in my place," Seline snaps, her composure cracking, "for a crime I didn't commit." "Well, Adrian will die if he breaks the rules," Iris snaps back. Seline forces herself to take a steadying breath. She's Luna. She doesn't get driven by emotions. She needs to think methodically. The facts align in her mind like pieces on a chessboard. She cannot wish for proof of her innocence because it would counter a previous wish. That means someone definitely wished for her to be framed. Adrian can't confirm who, but her instincts scream it must have been Ian. "And could you help me track someone down?" she asks carefully. Adrian nods. "And could you help me get to this person right away?" Another nod. Not ideal, but perhaps if she could find Ian, force a confession. "And in exchange, you'd take what matters to me most if I wished for something?" "Yes." Adrian's eyes hold that haunting sadness again. "But then again, you could just use your shifter powers to track someone down, couldn't you?" Iris whirls on him, appalled. "What are you doing?" "I'm just saying," Adrian tries. "No, you're doing the thing!" Iris's voice rises with genuine distress. "The thing?" Seline frowns. "The thing where he's not technically breaking the rules, but kind of is," Iris explains, her tone sharp. And then Iris's mouth forms a tight line of disapproval. "I don't understand," Seline begins, her voice tinged with desperation. "Please, could you explain?" Lady Iris throws her hands up in exasperation. "He already explained. Use your powers. Track down your culprit." "I already tried that," Seline snaps, then stops abruptly as realization dawns. It had led her here, to this impossible shop where Ian had been, if her deductions were correct. She closes her eyes, forcing herself to focus past the overwhelming darkness of Adrian's magic. Beneath layers of dust and old paper, past the lingering traces of countless desperate visitors, she catches it, Ian's distinctive scent. Her eyes snap open as she follows it to the shop's entrance. "Iris, Adrian," comes a forced casual voice. Don't you feel like opening the door and accompanying Seline outside? Not particularly, no, Iris retorts. Fine. The girl appears at Celine's side, yanking the door open with unnecessary force. Beyond lies the dark street Seline had glimpsed through the windows. Take my hand, Iris says. I'll go first. They step out together onto worn cobblestones. There, you're still here. Iris's pointed look carries clear meaning, but Seline barely notices, too focused on Ian's trail leading down the shadowy street. Thank you, she breathes. Yeah, whatever. Come back to the shop when you want to get home. If I'm not holding your hand, the portal won't work. Seline nods absently, already moving. The scent grows stronger with each step, leading her to a run-down motel. She forces herself to slow, to act casual as she approaches the front desk. Room for the night, she says, keeping her voice steady despite her racing heart. The clerk barely glances up from his newspaper as he hands over a key, but Seline is already moving past, following Ian's trail up creaking stairs. His scent grows overwhelming. He's close, so close. But something else tickles her nose. Another shifter. The scent is maddeningly familiar, growing stronger as she approaches Ian's door, though she can't quite place it through the motel's musty air. Time's running out. Jace's life hangs by a thread. With a silent prayer, Seline kicks the door clean off its hinges. A shocked scream pierces the air, followed by a deep male growl, but Seline barely registers them. Her entire world narrows to a single, impossible sight. There, tangled in cheap motel sheets and very much alive, is Bella. The word catches in Celine's throat. Her mind refuses to process what her eyes are seeing. Bella, very much alive, her pregnant belly clearly visible beneath a silk nightgown, scrambles to cover herself with the cheap motel sheets. Relief wars with bewilderment. The baby, at least, is safe. But then, what body had she seen at the mansion? No, 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 Seline whispers. Bella's eyes are wide with naked terror as she whimpers, backing against the headboard. You can't be here, Seline. How are you here? Before Seline can reply, a shadow launches itself forward from the corner of the room. Ian's massive frame fills her vision. You should have left well enough alone, Luna, he snarls. And died for, Seline snaps back, dropping into a defensive crouch as Ian circles her. His lips pull back, revealing elongated teeth, the wolf pushing close to the surface. He strikes first, a brutal swing that would have crushed her windpipe if it connected. But you don't become Luna without learning to fight, and Seline is already moving. She slides under his guard, landing 3 quick strikes to his ribs before dancing away. Ian growls, more annoyed than hurt. He's stronger, yes, but Seline notes how his movements telegraph his intentions. All brute force, no finesse. She can use that. Behind them, Bella's terrified wails fill the cramped room. Ian, she'll tell Leo, she'll keep it down. Ian snaps over his shoulder. You want every human in this dump to hear us? Seline seizes her opening as Ian turns his back. She drives her knee into his sternum, following with an elbow to his throat. He staggers, caught off guard, and she presses her advantage. A sweep takes his legs out, and she follows him down, forearm pressed against his windpipe, claws extended against his jugular. How did you do it? She demands, pressing harder as he struggles. The magician helped you fake her death somehow, didn't he? All to frame me. He had no choice. Bella's voice cracks with desperation. Ian was protecting me. Seline, Leo found out about us. He was going to execute me. Ian had to get me away, had to make sure Leo wouldn't come looking by framing you for murder. Seline's claws dig deeper into Ian's throat, drawing a thin line of blood. His sneer is ugly despite his position. Her knee drives into a particularly sensitive area, making him wheeze. Her mind races, comparing this story to Leo's genuine devastation at Bella's supposed death, his grief at losing the woman he so desperately wanted. You're lying, she realizes, meeting Ian's eyes. Even if Leo somehow discovered the affair, which I doubt, he would never harm his child. The pack laws forbid executing pregnant women. And Leo may be impulsive, but he's still alpha. Most importantly, he's convinced this child is his. Her gaze shifts to Bella, whose tear-streaked face has gone still. You lied to Bella to get her to play along, didn't you? Bella's expression shifts, dawning horror crossing her features as she searches Ian's face. Ian, you lied to me. Ian's renewed struggle beneath Seline turns desperate. I couldn't stand it anymore, he roars. Watching him parade you around, touching you, claiming you when you're mine. His voice breaks on the last word. You belong with me, not playing consort to some entitled alpha who doesn't even know you. I had to get you away, make you see reason. Bella's shriek could shatter glass. How could you involve the magician? Seline cuts through Bella's hysteria. You made a wish. Ian's shoulders slump, defeat written in every line of his body. Yes, he admits. Quietly watching, unable to tear his eyes from Bella's tearful collapse, I wished for his help to fake her death and free her from him. Bella suddenly launches herself off the bed, tiny fists pounding against Ian's chest. Her voice rises hysterically as she screams, I had everything. The finest silks from Paris, jewelry worth fortunes, an entire wing of the mansion to myself, she sobs. Leo's miracle, his perfect love, and you destroyed it. If that's all you wanted, Ian snarls, straining against Seline's hold, you should have let me go, but you couldn't, could you? His voice drops lower, intimate despite their audience, because deep down, you know none of those things matter, not compared to what we have. Bella's only response is a fresh wave of tears. Seline fights the urge to roll her eyes. Time is slipping away while these two play out their melodrama. Somewhere, Jace waits in a cell, counting down his final hours. Listen, Seline cuts in, her voice carefully measured and reasonable. I can take you back to court, Bella. I'll testify that Ian kidnapped you, that I tracked you down and rescued you. The words taste bitter, but she forces them out. Leo never has to know the truth. You can pick up exactly where you left off. Hope flares on Bella's tear-streaked face, but quickly falters. But Leo will never stop hunting Ian. He'll want revenge for my kidnapping. Seline nods. Turning to Ian, who remains pinned beneath her grip, she says, with a good head start, you could disappear, couldn't you? Ian renews his struggle with renewed vigor. Never. She's mine. I won't let her go. Bella throws up her hands. He won't see reason. Then make him see it, Seline snaps. Tell him you don't want to see him again. Bella's lower lip trembles as she turns to Ian. Something passes between them, some silent communication that frays Seline's patience further. You can't do it, can you? Ian's smile holds triumph despite his compromised position. Go on, tell her. Tell her you don't want me. I don't. Bella's voice wavers unconvincingly, fresh tears spilling down her cheeks. Before Seline can react, Ian surges upward with unexpected strength, breaking her hold as he twists free. Instead of attacking, he reaches for Bella. She falls into his arms like she's been waiting for this moment, their lips meeting in a desperate kiss. Seline watches them with growing disgust, wondering if either realizes how many lives their theatrical romance has destroyed, or perhaps they simply don't care, too lost in their own passion to consider the consequences. Her wolf bristles at the display, and she thinks of Jace alone in his cell, paying the price for their selfish games. Time is running out, and watching these two devour each other isn't going to save him. Straightening, disgust and resignation warring in her chest, Seline says, "Fine," moving toward the door. "Then I'll tell them all what you did. Good luck hiding from an alpha's rage." Ian breaks away from Bella with a snarl, lunging for Seline. She pivots, catching him with a precise kick that sends him sprawling. Staggering back, Seline warns that if she doesn't return, people will come looking. If not Leo, then the leopards, and they'll be furious about Jace's death. Bella's brow furrows. Why would Jace die? Celine's words cut sharp as blades. Because he claimed right of substitution, he offered his life in place of mine. Shock ripples across Bella's face as the implications sink in. For the first time, real guilt flickers in her eyes. "Your best chance is to run now," Seline continues. "I won't stop you, but I will not sacrifice Jace or risk war between our packs for the likes of you." Her gaze fixes on Ian. "Killing me would only make your situation worse." Ian's muscles bunch, clearly considering his odds, but Bella moves faster. She throws herself at Celine's feet, clutching her hands with desperate strength. "Please," she begs, tears spilling fresh. "I understand, but please beg Leo for mercy, for both of us." As if that would matter. "It will." Bella's gaze holds steady despite her tears. "You matter to him more than you know, and more importantly, you matter to the pack." "Leo threw me aside for you," Seline scoffs. "The pack's loyalty belongs to him." "If I'm good at one thing," Bella's voice drops lower, "it's understanding what people want. Leo wants a version of you he can't have, and the pack wants their Luna." Her fingers tighten on Celine's. "Why do you think I was so jealous? I tried so hard, but not everyone can be who you are." Seline studies her face, searching for manipulation. She finds it, of course. Bella is nothing if not skilled at telling people what they want to hear. But beneath the calculation lies something else, genuine admiration, maybe even a hint of shame. "Good luck," Seline says finally, reaching down to grab a handful of Bella's golden hair and yanking hard. "Ow!" Bella yelps, hand flying to her head. "What was that for?" "What do you think?" Seline replies, holding up the strand of hair. "For stealing your man?" Bella offers reluctantly. "No, silly girl. For proof that you're alive." She leaves them there, Ian already moving to comfort Bella, their dramatic romance perfectly intact. Let them have their passion and their problems, she thinks. She has a life to save and not much time left to do it. As she strides away, Bella's words echo in her mind. Not everyone can be who you are. Perhaps the girl had meant it as flattery, but she'd spoken a deeper truth than she knew. Seline hasn't spent years becoming the perfect Luna just to throw it all away now. It's time to remind everyone exactly who she is. Celine's fingers tighten around the strands of golden hair in her pocket as she stands before the courthouse doors. "You really think it will work?" Sarah whispers beside her. "It has to," Seline replies. She has only one person to convince: Leo. Jace's fate rests in the Alpha's hands, and Cedric will support whatever Leo decides. As for the pack, it will follow its Alpha. It always does. The shifters gathered by the courtroom fall in behind her, trailing her progress through the doors in silence. The courtroom awaits. The room is packed, but Leo's presence dominates it all, like a king perched on his high throne, power radiating with the intent to crush. Alpha she may be, but Seline inclines her head briefly as she approaches Luna. The title scrapes past Leo's teeth like a curse. "Your time is almost up." "I'm aware," Seline replies. The tension in the room feels like crystal about to shatter. "Where's Jace?" Seline asks, scanning the crowd. Leo's smirk holds cruel anticipation. He says nothing, but meets her stare until he finally waves a guard toward the cells. Bring the prisoner. Her entire world narrows to the moment Jason appears in chains. Their eyes meet across the crowded room, and something inside her chest breaks and mends all at once. If he dies today, she knows with sudden clarity that she will die with him. "Luna Seline," Cedric's voice cuts through their silent reunion. "You were given 24 hours to prove your innocence regarding Consort Bella's death. That time is nearly spent, and with no proof, your lover dies." Leo interrupts, his sneer dripping satisfaction. Cedric sighs like a parent dealing with quarreling pups. "Yes, I think everyone remembers this quite clearly." Alpha Leo ignores him, focusing all his frustrated rage on Seline. "Let's hear it then. Where's your big proof? What can you show us to prove you didn't kill Bella?" Seline steps forward, letting her own smile sharpen. "I can prove I didn't kill Bella, the same way I can prove nobody killed her." Her gaze sweeps the crowd, because Consort Bella is still alive. The courtroom explodes. Voices rise in shock and disbelief. Bodies surge forward and back like waves in a storm. The cacophony builds until the very walls seem to vibrate. Through it all, Seline watches as Leo's eyes darken with fury. "Is this a joke to you?" he roars, silencing the chaos. "Is this how you treat the dead?" "Seeing as no one's dead, it's hard to know how I'd treat them." "How dare you!" Leo's power floods the room like a physical force. "Let her speak." Jace's command cuts through Leo's rage like a blade, shocking the room into momentary silence. His eyes find hers, the dangerous half-smile she loves so much playing at his lips. "The floor is yours, my queen." He looks for all the world like a man who knows he'll walk free within the hour. It's probably foolish, but his confidence feeds her own. Seline straightens her spine. "As mentioned before, I witnessed Consort Bella's affair with Ian, her bodyguard." Celine's voice rings clear and steady through the hushed courtroom. "The latter, as I explained, and Sarah confirmed, is missing from our territory. I tracked him to the docks where he used to work, where he still has contacts. But he wasn't there, and time was running out. That's when, by opening a door, I found a portal to a magician's shop." "Preposterous!" Leo's snarl cuts through her testimony. "In this shop," Seline continues, refusing to be silenced, "I met a magician who told me he could grant any wish in exchange for a price." "So you're just going to keep making stories as you go along?" "I'm not making this up," the words burst from Seline with unexpected force. "His name is Adrian, and the magician she speaks of does exist." Cedric's measured tone cuts through the tension. "I've heard of him from other packs," he says, nodding at Seline to continue. "I found traces of Ian's scent," Seline explains, nodding back at Cedric. "I tracked him to a motel, planning to bring him back here to face justice." Her eyes sweep across the crowd, ensuring every ear strains to catch her words. But he wasn't alone. Consort Bella was with him, very much alive. How do you explain her cold body currently lying in our crypt? Leo demands. Magic. The word falls like a stone in still water. Ian wished for the magician's help to fake his mistress's death, ensuring they could escape without you pursuing them for retribution. She pulls Bella's golden strands from her pocket, holding them high for all to see. I took this as proof. You'll recognize Bella's scent, Alpha. You'll also notice it doesn't carry the taint of death. Seline approaches Leo, offering the hair. Something flickers in his eyes as he breathes in the scent. Recognition, confusion, maybe even hope. Her heart lifts. Surely now. My Alpha, she begins, her voice softening. I know this betrayal cuts deep, but Bella was as much a victim as a perpetrator. She and her unborn child deserve mercy, not pursuit. If I can find forgiveness in my heart after being framed for her murder, surely you. The words die in her throat as Leo's gaze burns into hers. Something in those amber depths makes her wolf want to bare its throat and run. Not anger or hatred, but something worse. A cold, calculated pleasure, like a predator watching its prey walk willingly into a trap. Is this a joke? Leo's voice drops to a dangerous whisper. He holds up the strands of hair as if they offend him. This proves nothing. Just hair. You could have collected it anywhere in the mansion where you've been sneaking around against my explicit orders. Disbelief crashes through Seline's chest. Leo, surely you recognize her scent. How it differs from old hair or a corpse. She takes a steadying breath, then plays her final card. Besides, Leo, you're my mate. You can feel it through our bond. Am I lying? Their eyes lock, and for one heartbeat, Seline believes. This man has shared her bed, her life, her dreams for over a decade. Whatever his faults, he knows her heart. He knows her truth. But then something shifts in his gaze, something mean, dark, and deliberately cruel. In that moment, Seline realizes her terrible mistake. Yes, Leo says, crushing the strands in his fist. You're lying. Leo turns to address the crowd, his voice dripping with contempt. Why would Bella, who loved me, abandon me for a lesser wolf? Why would she deny our child the brightest future she had with me? Yet she chose another. His laugh is sharp and cruel. Impossible. She, however, he rounds on Seline, was about to be replaced in favor of my heir. She was about to lose everything she had. Motive. The truth hit Seline like a physical blow. She'd been so focused on Leo knowing her that she'd forgotten how well she knows him. Instead of appealing to his ego, she'd only fueled his darkest instincts. She phrased the story to preserve his pride, telling only the truth. But truth means nothing to Leo. Only pride matters. Faced with the choice of sacrificing Seline or confronting his wounded pride, there was never any real decision. Alpha Cedric's voice rang out, commanding authority. I am Alpha of this pack, and this woman is my mate. Jace interjected. Actually, I'm her mate. You're not bonded yet, Leo snarled. Only I have insight into Seline's feelings. She's lying, desperate to save you. She fabricated this ridiculous story because she can't bear losing you. But she committed a crime against me, against this pack, against all of you. He swept his arm toward the crowd. She must pay the price, and since he offered, her mate will pay it for her. Seline clenched her fists as despair flooded her chest. How could she have been so foolish? Blinded again by doing the right thing, by trying to save everyone, by trusting Leo. "I'm not lying." The words burst from her with unexpected force. She lifted her chin, turning to face her people. "For years, I've served this pack faithfully, done everything in my power to make it thrive. For this pack, I accepted my mate's betrayal. For this pack, I sent the man I love away." She glanced at Jace, then met Leo's gaze. "And for this pack, I would have stepped aside so it could have its heir. I would never risk instability, conflict, and death to satisfy a selfish impulse. I would never harm a member of my pack and her unborn child, no matter what she did with my mate." Her voice rang with quiet certainty. "I'm a Luna, and as Luna, my duty defines me." Silence fell like snow over the courtroom, but Seline couldn't regret being true to herself and her people. She closed her eyes, resigned to meeting Jace again in death. Then Sarah spoke, her words cutting through the silence like a blade. "I believe her." Sarah stood in the crowd, dropping to her knees. "Our Luna is fair and true. She would never lie." Leo's roar shook the rafters. "You'll pay for this, Sarah," he yelled. "And why should she?" Jace's voice carried a dangerous edge. "She says Seline is lying. She says she isn't. Who's to say you're not the liar here, Alpha?" He turned to Cedric. "Seline has been nothing but faithful and reliable for years to her pack and others. Do you really think she'd do this? Risk everything?" The silence that followed felt like a physical weight. Seline watched faces she'd known for years, people she'd helped, protected, served. They turned away from her gaze one by one. Some looked ashamed, others simply resigned. None spoke up. None challenged their alpha. She wanted to scream at them to remember how she'd negotiated peace with rival packs to keep their sons from war. How she'd given everything she had to this pack while asking nothing in return. But she understood. The fear of an alpha's wrath ran deeper than memory or gratitude. Leo's triumphant snort echoed through the heavy silence. Seline offered Jace a sad smile. He's too new to understand. A pack always trusts its alpha first. "But then I believe Luna, Seline," came a soft voice. Clear as an elderly wolf, one whose grandchildren Seline had helped deliver, kneels at the back of the room. "I believe my Luna," a young warrior says, dropping to one knee. Then another follows, like dominoes falling in slow motion. The crowd begins to move. Women Seline had counseled through difficult matings, men whose territory disputes she'd settled fairly. "I believe my Luna," they exclaim. Emboldened children she'd protected, trained, and guided join in, one by one, then in waves, kneeling before her, heads bowed in submission to her truth. "How dare you?" Leo's voice cracks with fury. "I'm the alpha. My word is law." "You're only alpha while the pack trusts you to lead it," Jace replies, his smile devoid of warmth. Leo's answering roar of rage drowns beneath a rising tide of voices. "Luna, Seline," they chant, fists pressed to hearts in ancient gestures of respect and devotion. "Luna, Seline." The sound swells until it seems to make the very walls vibrate. Not just voices, but the collective heartbeat of her pack, choosing truth over power, choosing her. Tears slip down Seline's cheeks as she watches them kneel one after another, until only Leo remains standing, screaming in impotent rage at the wall of their pack's faith in her. She has never sought power or glory, never wanted anything but to serve her people well. But in this moment, watching them choose her, choose truth, justice, and everything she's tried to represent, she finally understands what it truly means to be Luna. 6 months later, moonlight spills across rumpled sheets, painting silver paths along bare skin. Seline traces her fingers over the mark above Jace's heart, where Shiabin stands stark against his skin, her true name, the one she'd almost forgotten until fate brought them together. "Still can't believe you never told me your real name," Jace murmurs, catching her wandering hand and bringing it to his lips. "I hadn't used it in so many years, I'd almost forgotten it myself." She smiles against his chest, pressing a kiss to the mark that had drawn them together even before they know it. "Besides, I rather enjoyed watching you search for your mysterious soulmate when she was right in front of you." His laugh rumbles beneath her cheek. "Wicked woman." His hands slide down her back, drawing her closer. "Though I suppose I deserved it for not recognizing my true mate sooner." "Soon enough, we found each other in the end," she says, lifting her head to meet his kiss. Slow, deep, and perfect. Even after 6 months, every touch between them feels like coming home. His hand drifts to her swollen belly, where their twins grow stronger each day. "More than found each other," he says with quiet wonder. "We've created something entirely new." He smirks. "I hope Leo hears about this and realizes he was the one who couldn't get you pregnant." Seline rolls her eyes as his fingers trace patterns on her skin. Their packs have merged seamlessly under their joint leadership, something that might have seemed impossible mere months ago. But then, so much has changed since that day in court when her people chose truth over power. "Any word on his whereabouts?" Jace asks, though they both know he doesn't really care. Seline's voice holds no regret. Their mate bond had broken clean after the trial, like cutting a rope already frayed beyond repair. "Though I heard interesting news about Bella," she says. "Oh?" His eyebrow lifts. "She's made it to some powerful beta in the Southern Territories now. Goes by Genevieve these days." Jace's nose wrinkles. After everything Ian risked for her, he made a wish to get her back. Seline shrugs, and in doing so, he lost her. "Speaking of magicians," Jace's fingers trail up her spine. "Sarah swears she found his shop again last week. She didn't," Seline snorts. "Some doors only open once, and when they're truly needed." His lips find that sensitive spot behind her ear. "And what do you truly need now, my queen?" "Just this." She turns in his arms, meeting his midnight blue eyes. "Us. The truth of what we are together." His smile holds everything she loves about him. Dangerous edge softened by genuine warmth. No flattery, no ego stroking. Would you want that? Gods, no. He captures her mouth in another kiss, this one heated with promise. "I want exactly what I have, you." Seline smiles. "Even when I'm pointing out how impossible you're being?" "Especially then." His hands grow more purposeful in their wandering. "Though perhaps we could delay the next lesson in honesty for a few hours." Seline laughs, thinking about paths not taken. "Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I hadn't found the courage that day in court. You'd still be miserable with Leo." Jace's voice holds a growl. She shakes her head. "No, I mean, what if I hadn't stood up to defend myself? What if I just accepted his judgment, like the perfect, obedient Luna everyone expected me to be?" "You were never meant to be just someone's perfect, obedient Luna." His fingers trail along her arm. "You're just meant to be you, which, as it turns out, is great for me because you are perfect," he adds, peppering her cheeks with kisses. "Still," she muses, "I suppose I owe someone a huge thank you for helping us find each other." Jace's chest puffs up. Well, you're welcome, my queen. Seline snorts. Oh, I meant Bella. She says it with a straight face. Bella? Jace sounds offended. She has to laugh. Well, think about it. Without her creating all this drama, who knows how long I would have stayed trapped playing the perfect mate. She grins up at Jace. Really, we should send her a gift basket. A gift basket? He repeats flatly. To thank her for almost getting you executed? It all worked out in the end, didn't it? She pats his chest soothingly. I found my true mate, escaped a loveless marriage, and learned I wasn't actually barren. Jace laughs despite himself, pulling her closer. You're impossible. And yet you love me. I do. She snuggles into his warmth, grateful for everything, even the hard parts that led her here, to a future bright with possibility and twins on the way. Maybe she really should send off that thank you note, she thinks. Then she snorts and decides against it. Let's not push it. Thank you for listening, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this part and found the ending satisfying. I want to take a moment to thank you for your patience during the delay between the two parts of this story, which was caused by production issues. Your support, whether through watching, liking, or commenting, truly makes a difference, and I'm excited to share more stories with you in the future.